So my whole life I've been doing martial arts, early 40s now, and as Marilyn alluded to, I did or I sort of fulfilled my childhood dream, and I was able to go live with a master for an extent, a teacher, my teacher for an extended period of time, full time, and learn, through transmission, similar to how movies portray, if you will. So I was influenced by Bruce Lee and other martial arts movies and whatnot. In that journey, through learning of health and well-being, and also looking at martial arts, conflict, violence, coming to a word called peace, and doing meditation on a daily basis. There's a lot of introspection and time with oneself as we're cultivating the skills in the martial arts. And long story short, it took me a long time to understand and to learn how to have an intention of nourishing, in contrast to an intention of uh, maybe killing or damaging or malnourishing, if you will, to my own. And I had to come into that awareness through my own process. So I was having conversations with other martial artists on the mountain, on the hill. A friend who recently passed introduced me to Marilyn and the Peace Games. He said, you should talk with Marilyn and the Peace Games. I reached out to her and we talked. She said, yeah, I know your master, and we go back. And so she came up to the hill a few times, and I realized I really wanted to be involved with something that had an intention toward peace. What does that look like? What does it mean? I don't know. I want to be involved with it because I understand, common language, intentionality, finding some sort of direction and path. Yeah, let's work towards this word here, whatever it means. So through meditation, further meditation, and introspection, still on a journey and a path in terms of, well, how do you communicate that to everybody? And then when we're doing the games, or if I'm doing a facilitation of martial arts or qigong, I try to lead and facilitate and guide people to a sense and to a feeling of being at ease, of calmness, stillness. And so for us who study Taoism, we try to reach toward somewhat of a threshold that can bring us towards the Tao, the ultimate source, as close as we can.
Do you want to mention your radio show?
The radio show, I do once a month radio show. And I have conversations like this with other martial artists and facilitators. I had a show, was it yesterday? Thursday. And I talked with an ecotherapist and Bay Area residers, an ecotherapist, and a person who does, they teach us something called unique self. So taking your ego self to an eco self. So we, bounce ideas of what it means to find peace, and what is it you're looking for, and what does it feel like. So our teacher tried to instill this idea in us, me and Nona. Always search for a deeper feeling. Always search for a deeper feeling. So when we're practicing, we're training something repetitive, do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, like the martial arts movies that we all know and love. Always search for a deeper feeling with oneself. And essentially, it's the process of knowing oneself. So what I've come to realize is, how many of us have done yoga? Know of yoga? You've heard of it, yeah. How many have done qigong? Okay, a little more people have done qigong. And so we have this idea and this notion of having kind of this solo path that helps us to clear, cleanse, what have you, transform, transmute, and find our individual sense of peace. I mention that because what I've realized is that process where we're sort of trying to harmonize our mind, body, soul in our individual practices, we sort of need to step out or try to look for templates to step out of that and then sort of harmonize the mind and body between two. So two as one, similar to that yin yang concept. And I think that is similar to that Ubuntu concept. So common language, right? And what I realize learning Chinese martial arts is there's these practices in Tai Chi. They're called pushing hands drills. Have anybody done pushing hands? Cool. So what I realize is that in pushing hands, it's sort of like the Tao. It's like you have these practices and you're learning these skills of understanding, listening, following, leading, connecting, and those are actually skill sets that you're trying to instill and learn in those practices. Martial artists will say there's no use to pushing hands, right? You get punched, you get knocked out, right? So it takes a while to appreciate and to understand and to learn. But something like that, I realized that there is a need for to have that individual practice come out, step out of the individual, and have some sort of practice where two can harmonize as one in the same way as we go through this process, maybe daily or weekly, where our mind, body, soul harmonize as one. The peace games are a template and an opportunity for two to harmonize as one and learn to lead, follow, connect, understand, engage, when to disengage, connect, and to realize and embody what we sort of kind of intellectually know, like we're all connected. But how do we sort of embody that, find the feeling, and sort of introduce that to the nervous system?